This video is about our 2-day drive on Highway 50 in Nevada and a lot of the cool things there are to see on the drive. In July 1986, Life magazine dubbed this road the loneliest road in America. The official Loneliest Road starts in Carson City on the west and ends in Baker on the east side of Nevada. We started our journey in Fallon, Nevada, however, and we found the road before Fallon to not be very lonely at all. One really cool place to stop in Fallon is in the downtown area, and especially the Overland Hotel, which was established in 1908. The hotel was even listed on the Nevada Register of Historical Places, having been placed there in 1999. It was a welcome stop for travelers on the Lincoln Highway, and there's still even a place to tie up your horse. Across the street from the hotel is this old service station, and in fact the whole downtown area is very cool with lots of historic buildings to see. About 30 miles outside of Fallon is Sand Mountain. Behind me is Sand Mountain. We're right off Highway 50, just about 30 miles outside of Fallon, Nevada. Now you might not be able to see it very well right now, and that's because unfortunately while we're filming this video, there's historic wildfires going on the west coast of the United States, and even though we're hundreds of miles away, the smoke has made it this far and is kind of obscuring the view, but we'll take a closer look. It's a really popular place for off-road vehicles, and just a minute ago there was a motorcycle towards the top of the mountain, but unfortunately there's not anyone up there right now. These shots we filmed with our drone kind of give you an idea of how big Sand Mountain is. It can actually be seen from 82 miles away. Also at Sand Mountain are the ruins of the Sand Springs Station, a stop along the Pony Express. With relay stations every 12 to 25 miles, there was a lot of Pony Express history along Highway 50. This room was one of the living quarters at the station. Noted British explorer Sir Edward Burton stayed here in 1860. Life on the Pony Express was hard, and Sir Edward Burton wrote that setting aside the chance of death, the work is severe, the diet is sometimes reduced to wolf mutton or a little boiled wheat and rye, and the drink to brackish water. A pound of tea comes occasionally, but the droughty souls are always out of whiskey and tobacco. While we've definitely been on roads that there have been less cars than on Highway 50, it is definitely a lonely road. While driving down the road, we came across this container letting us know that we were in Nowhere, Nevada. Number 2, no idea where number 1 is. Up next is Middlegate Station, which is about 47 miles from Fallon and the first place after Fallon where you can buy food or gasoline. Middlegate does have a restaurant and bar that seem to be quite popular, however we did not eat there on this trip. The author Stephen King actually stayed at the Middlegate Motel for 7 nights and wrote part of the book Desperation there. The Overland Stage built a station at Middlegate, and the Pony Express had a station there as well. Right outside of Middlegate is the Shoe Tree. Now, there are lots of shoe trees when you're traveling down highways, but this tree had the most shoes of any tree that I've ever seen. Just look at the ground beneath the tree and how many shoes are there. I mean, the shoes have even started moving to a second tree. After Middlegate, the smoke finally thinned out a bit, and the skies were getting slightly better. Another thing that I thought was really great along Highway 50 is how many informational signs there were on the side of the road. The pullouts for them were well marked, and the signs actually contained a decent amount of detail. This is where you'd usually find the old Lincoln Highway markers as well. Next, we were in Austin, Nevada, the home of Stokes Castle, which was built by Anson Phelps Stokes in 1897. We actually have a full video on Stokes Castle, which I'll link in the description, but I will say the views from the castle are worth the trip alone. Unfortunately, there was major construction going on in Austin on our visit, so we didn't get to see the rest of the town, but that just gives us a reason to come back in the future. Our next stop was at the Hickison Petroglyphs recreation area, which we didn't know anything about before the trip, but ended up being one of the coolest places we stopped on the Loneliest Road. The petroglyphs were easily accessible, with this rock being only a few feet from the parking lot. Archaeologists have dated human habitation in this area to 10,000 BC. The park had some really well-maintained trails, and there were petroglyphs everywhere. Eureka, Nevada was another really cool town, especially the Opera House, which was built in 1880. Going inside really does feel like you're stepping back in time. Also, in the backstage area, a lot of the people who have performed there over the years have signed their name on the walls. Across the street from the Opera House is the Eureka Courthouse, which was built in 1879 at a cost of $38,000. It's amazing to think how many trials have taken place there over the last 140 years. Outside of the courthouse, we also found this really cool old General Motors Lincoln Highway plaque. 250 miles from Fallon is Ely, Nevada, which is by far the biggest town on the Loneliest Road since Fallon. Maybe the most famous landmark in Ely is the Hotel Nevada, which opened in 1929, and when it was built was the tallest building in Nevada. It held that distinction for only 2 years, however. A few famous people have stayed the night at Hotel Nevada, and they do have a walk of fame in front of the building. People such as Stephen King, President Lyndon B. Johnson, and Jimmy Stewart. Ely is also home to the Nevada Northern Railway National Historic Landmark. The Nevada Northern Railway Museum was massive and amazing. If you are a fan of trains at all, you will absolutely love this place. It is absolutely huge. They also offer historic train rides, but unfortunately we weren't able to do that on this trip. After spending the night in Ely, it was back on the Loneliest Road to our final stop. Great Basin National Park is a place that we've talked about going for years, but somehow never made it. Well, it definitely lived up to expectations. The Lehman Caves were closed on our visit, but the Wheeler Peak Drive was incredible. As you head up the mountain, the views were amazing, and there's even a few overlooks to stop and get a better look. There are great views of Wheeler Peak, the second tallest mountain in Nevada, and you can even see the glacier. A glacier is certainly something that you don't think of when you think of Nevada. Great Basin National Park is absolutely beautiful. If you come out here, you have to take the Wheeler Peak Drive. It only takes about an hour each way. There are stunning views, which you've seen already in the video. And when you get to the top of the drive, there's a lot of trailheads. There's some short trails that are really easy, wheelchair accessible. It's definitely worth spending some time up here. I think Great Basin is most famous for its night skies, but in the daytime it is absolutely beautiful as well, and well worth spending an afternoon here. The hiking trails at Great Basin National Park are really well maintained. This is the Sky Islands Nature Trail. It is virtually level for the entire trail, and it is even wheelchair accessible. As I mentioned, the park is just absolutely beautiful. Now, I wasn't able to take any pictures of the night sky, but on our visit it was a clear night and the sky was incredible, just how many stars we could see. All three of us agreed that Great Basin National Park was the #1 stop on our trip on the Loneliest Road. One other thing before we get to the end of this video, we do want to mention the Loneliest Road Survival Guide and Stamp Book. The Survival Guide is like a passport, and you can pick it up at various locations along the Loneliest Road, and then in different areas you can get the passport stamped. The book does list stamp locations, but we found there were a lot of places that weren't listed in the book that also offer the stamps as well. But we thought the Survival Guide was a really cool, fun, free souvenir from our trip. And if you get enough stamps, apparently they will even send you a certificate that says that you survived the Loneliest Road. Well, that's our look at Highway 50 in Nevada, the loneliest road in America. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you next week.